Dear chosen one, if you are watching this video right now, know that this is not a coincidence. You weren't led here by chance. It is God who has brought you to this very moment, to this message, because an urgent prophecy is about to unfold, and it is meant for you. Receive this energy and divine prophecy by liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to write your heartfelt prayers or wishes to God in the comment section below. Beloved, I must speak directly to your heart today. There have been doors in your life that looked good on the outside, but behind them were hidden snares. Opportunities that promised blessing but carried chains. People who smiled at you but concealed daggers. Paths that seemed straight but would have led you into destruction. You may not have always seen it, but your Father in heaven did. And in His mercy, He has been quietly shutting those doors, some of them before you even knew they were dangerous. I know it hurt when that relationship ended. I know it confused you when that job slipped away. I know it broke your spirit when that opportunity was suddenly pulled out of reach. You cried, "God, why?" But the Spirit of the Lord whispers now, "Because I love you too much to let you walk into something that would have wounded you deeper than you can imagine." Think of Joseph. Sold by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, falsely accused in Egypt, and locked in prison. At every turn, doors were slammed in his face. The door of family loyalty. The door of reputation. The door of freedom. And yet, every shut door was secretly guiding him closer to his destiny. God wasn't being cruel. He was being protective. He was rerouting Joseph's steps away from hidden harm and preparing him for a throne he could not yet see. So it is with you. Every closed door has been divine redirection. Every no has been heaven's way of saying, "Not this way, my child. I have something better. I have something safer. I have something holy prepared for you." Listen closely, you are not being punished. You are being protected. Yes, it feels like rejection. Yes, it feels like loss. But heaven sees what you cannot. Heaven knows the conversations spoken behind your back, the traps laid before your feet, the spiritual snares designed to drain your soul. And because you are chosen, God has refused to let you walk through doors that would destroy you. You prayed for blessing, and God answered with protection. You prayed for growth, and God answered with pruning. You prayed for love, and God answered by removing counterfeits. It may not have looked like an answer, but it was. Beloved, when a door closes, you must trust that God has seen something you have not. A door may look polished with gold handles, but on the other side could be chains of iron. Think of Lot's wife. God commanded her to leave the city and never look back. The city looked alive with activity, but in reality, it was burning. She turned back and was frozen in her longing for a door God had already shut. Do not mourn doors that heaven has sealed. Do not run back to what God has removed. Do not reopen what God has locked. Trust the keeper of doors, for he knows the end from the beginning. And here is what the Spirit says, God is not only closing harmful doors, He is securing them. The relationships that once drained you, they will no longer have access to your peace. The habits that once bound you, they will no longer hold the same power. The patterns that once repeated, they will now break by divine authority. God is shutting doors so firmly that no man can reopen them. He is cutting ties that no enemy can reattach. He is sealing chapters so completely that even your own memories cannot drag you backward. But why now? Why this season? Because you are stepping into the next stage of your assignment. You cannot afford the weight of toxic connections. You cannot afford the distraction of counterfeit blessings. You cannot afford to carry what is secretly harming you into the next dimension of your calling. This is why the shaking has been so strong. This is why the pruning has felt so severe. God is preparing you for fruitfulness. And fruitful branches must first be trimmed. John 15:2 says, "Every branch in me that does not bear fruit He takes away, and every branch that does bear fruit He prunes, that it may bear more fruit." Your pruning is proof of your fruitfulness. Your closed doors are proof of your chosenness. Child of God, I want you to take comfort in this: if you only knew what was behind some of those doors, you would fall on your knees and thank God for shutting them. The betrayals you never discovered, the accidents you never encountered, the traps you never fell into, the heartbreak you never endured. You thought you lost something good, but in reality, you were spared something deadly. That is how deep God's love runs. He is not only giving you what you pray for, He is protecting you from what you don't see. So today, lift your eyes from the closed doors. Do not fix your gaze on what is gone. Instead, turn your face toward the one who holds the master key. Revelation 3:7 reminds us, what He opens no one can shut, and what He shuts no one can open. Your Father is not only the opener of doors, He is the closer of doors. And both are acts of mercy. Beloved, release your grip on what has been closed. Trust the divine closures. For every door shut is a prophecy of something greater yet to come. Beloved, lean in closely. The Spirit of the Lord is saying, do not despise the closed door. It is my shield over you. You see, many times when we are in a season of waiting, we assume God has forgotten us. We imagine that silence means absence. But silence is not absence, silence is strategy. God has been strategically arranging your life so that the doors you should never enter are firmly sealed, while the ones meant for you are preserved for the appointed time. You must understand this spiritual truth: not every open door is a blessing, and not every closed door is a curse. Some open doors are actually traps disguised as opportunities. And some closed doors are blessings in disguise, gifts from heaven to keep your spirit safe. Think of Samson. His strength was legendary, yet the open door of Delilah's affection was the very thing that led to his downfall. What looked like love was actually betrayal wrapped in beauty. Had Samson discerned the danger and walked away from that door, his story would have been different. But look at you, child of God. God will not let you be deceived like that. He has been shutting doors that carry hidden snares, sparing you from betrayals that would have destroyed your future. Some of the people who walked away from you didn't leave by accident. God ushered them out because their presence was poisoning your purpose. This is why the pruning feels personal, because it touches your heart. It touches the relationships you once cherished, the ambitions you once pursued, the dreams you once held close. But what you must see is this: God removes what is secretly hurting you to prepare you for what will truly heal and bless you. That friendship that suddenly grew distant? It wasn't meant to follow you into the next season. That business deal that collapsed at the last minute? It was set up to chain you with hidden obligations. That job that slipped away? It would have drained your spirit and robbed you of time you needed for your calling. You didn't fail, you were preserved. Let me remind you of Israel at the Red Sea. When Pharaoh's army pursued, God closed the door behind them with the waters. Israel thought they were trapped, but God was really protecting them from being dragged back into slavery. When God closes a door, He isn't just keeping you from harm, He's making sure your past cannot reclaim you. He seals the exit so that the enemy cannot follow. The very waters that opened to save you will close to destroy what pursued you. So rejoice, chosen one. The doors that are closing in your life are not just exits, they are barriers of protection. God is cutting you off from cycles that enslaved your spirit. But here is a deeper truth: closed doors are also classrooms. Every time a door shuts, heaven is teaching you something. When the relationship ended, you learned to lean on God's love more deeply. When the job slipped away, you learned that your provision comes from heaven, not from man. When the opportunity was denied, you learned that your value does not depend on doors you can open for yourself. God uses closures to refine your faith, to stretch your trust, to make you strong enough to carry the blessings that are waiting on the other side. Consider David. When he asked to build the temple, God said no. The door was closed. To David, it may have felt like rejection, but in truth, God was teaching him that legacy is not always built by what we do with our hands, but by what we impart to the next generation. Your closed doors are not just about you. They are shaping you so that what you pass on to others will be greater than what you experienced yourself. Beloved, the Spirit is impressing this strongly: stop chasing doors that God has already locked. When you try to pry them open, you only wound yourself. Some of you are still trying to reach back into relationships that God has ended. Some are still trying to resurrect dreams that God has buried. Some are still knocking on doors that were never meant to open. It is time to let go. It is time to release. It is time to trust that God knows best. And I must speak this prophetically: God is not only closing doors that were secretly hurting you, He is also locking doors you don't even know exist. There are conversations happening about you that you will never hear. There are traps being set that you will never see. There are assignments of the enemy being cancelled before they can even reach your doorstep. You will never know the full extent of what you've been saved from. And that is the proof of His love. A love that shields. A love that protects. A love that builds invisible walls around you while you sleep. And here is your reassurance: every door closed by God is an announcement that something greater is on its way. He never shuts a door without preparing to open another. But He will not let you enter the new until you stop grieving the old. Release your tears, yes. Grieve what was lost, yes. But then stand up and lift your eyes. Because what's coming will not just replace what you lost, it will redeem it. Joel 2:25 says, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." Restoration is God's specialty. And often, restoration begins with closure. So take this to heart, chosen one: the closed door is not the end of your story. It is the turning of a page. It is the setup for a divine unveiling. And though you may not understand it now, soon you will see that every no was protecting a greater yes. Do not despise your season of closure, for it is the soil in which your next miracle is being planted. Beloved, let me take you deeper into the mystery of divine redirection. When God closes a door, He does not leave you wandering aimlessly. He is not a God of confusion. He is a God of order, alignment, and precise timing. Think about this: every closed door in your life is a signal that God is about to shift your path. He is not only keeping you from harm, but He is also pointing you toward destiny. His closures are not dead ends, they are holy detours. Look at Abraham. God told him to leave his father's house and go to a land he did not know. That meant walking away from familiar doors, the door of his household, the door of his culture, the door of everything he knew as stability. Why? Because if Abraham stayed in the same environment, he would never see the new land God promised. God closed the door on his past so that He could redirect him into a promise that would bless generations. And beloved, that is exactly what God is doing in your life right now. He is shutting down the old path so that you cannot wander back into it. He is sealing the exit so that you won't be tempted to stay in what is comfortable, but harmful. He is redirecting your steps toward the land He has prepared for you. But here is the truth: redirection rarely feels comfortable. It often feels like being uprooted. You might ask, God, why did this relationship end? Why did this door of opportunity shut? Why did this season collapse? And God whispers back, because I am moving you. I am pulling you into a new alignment. I am directing you to what you could not reach if you stayed where you were. This is why Proverbs 3:5-6 declares, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths." To be directed, you must first surrender your understanding. You must release the blueprint you drew for yourself and allow God's blueprint to take over. Maybe the plan you had was good, but God's plan is greater. Maybe the timing you wanted was soon, but God's timing is perfect. Maybe the people you thought would walk with you couldn't carry the weight of your assignment. God sees what you cannot see. And so, He redirects. Beloved, have you noticed how a shepherd leads his sheep? He uses his staff to block certain paths. To the sheep, it feels like restriction. But to the shepherd, it is protection. He knows which path leads to green pastures and which path leads to cliffs. So too with you. God has been blocking certain directions not to punish you, but to keep you from falling. He is redirecting you toward green pastures, even when it feels like wilderness right now. But let us go deeper. Divine redirection is not random. It always brings you into alignment with God's greater purpose for your life. Think of Joseph. He dreamed of greatness, but the doors of betrayal and slavery closed on him. To the natural eye, it looked like loss. But every closed door was secretly redirecting him to Egypt, the place where his purpose would be fulfilled. Had Joseph not been rejected by his brothers, he would never have reached the palace. The closed door of family approval led to the open door of national influence. Beloved, sometimes the very place of your rejection is the soil of your elevation. Sometimes the very people who turned you away were necessary to redirect you to those who will honor your gift. I feel this in the spirit for you. God is realigning your steps so that what He placed inside of you will meet the right environment. You were not created to waste your gifts in small, suffocating spaces. You were not called to remain in circles that cannot see your worth. God is redirecting you into rooms where your gift will make sense, where your anointing will be recognized, where your purpose will be celebrated. So don't mourn too long over who walked away. Don't lament too deeply over the doors that shut. Because God is positioning you for alignment with destiny connections, people who will pour into you, not drain you, people who will push you forward, not pull you back. But let me speak this truth plainly. Redirection often requires stillness. You cannot hear the new instruction if you are still banging on the old door. You cannot see the new path if your eyes are still fixed on what is behind you. This is why Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still, and know that I am God." Stillness is not passivity, it is positioning. It is the act of stepping out of striving so that you can step into receiving. Beloved, if you want to catch the wind of God's redirection, you must stop rowing your own boat. Let Him be the current that carries you. And here is a prophetic word for you. God is realigning even the delays in your life. What you thought was wasted time was actually preparation time. The seasons that felt like pauses were really recalibrations. God was slowing you down not because you were failing, but because He wanted your arrival to match the fullness of His timing. You are not behind. You are not late. You are being redirected into divine alignment. Do you know what happens when God aligns your path? Doors open without striving. Connections form without forcing. Opportunities flow without manipulation. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, not because of luck, but because heaven orchestrated every step. Ruth was gleaning in a field, and suddenly, she met Boaz. That was divine alignment. Esther was chosen as queen at the exact moment her people needed deliverance. That was divine alignment. And you, chosen one, are being redirected for such a time as this. So I speak this over you. Stop fearing the closed doors, and start anticipating the divine alignments. For what God is orchestrating now will leave no doubt that His hand has been guiding you all along. The redirection you are experiencing is not punishment, it is preparation. And when the next door opens, it will make sense why the others had to shut. Beloved, now that we've seen how God redirects us, we must talk about the posture of the heart while waiting for the new door to open. For many, the most difficult part is not the closing of the old door, it's the season in between. That space of uncertainty. That wilderness between Egypt and the Promised Land. That pause between Joseph's pit and his palace. And yet, it is in that very waiting season that God refines us, strengthens us, and teaches us to walk with peace and confidence. Peace in the midst of the unknown. When God closes a door, the enemy often tries to attack your mind with fear. What if nothing better comes? What if this is the end for me? What if I missed my chance? But beloved, those are lies. For Isaiah 26:3 promises, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." Peace is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of God in the midst of them. The closed door may shake your circumstances, but it does not have to shake your soul. You can rest, because you know the same God who shut the door is the same God who holds the key to the next one. Confidence in God's plan. The enemy wants you to believe that closed doors mean rejection. But in truth, they mean redirection. And when you truly understand that, your confidence will shift. Psalm 27:3 says, "Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I will be confident." Notice the psalmist does not say I will be confident when everything is going right. No, he says even then I will be confident. Even when surrounded. Even when pressed. Even when doors are slamming shut. Confidence is not built on circumstances, but on covenant. And you, chosen one, are in covenant with a faithful God who does not abandon his promises. Waiting without withering. Many people think waiting means doing nothing. But in the kingdom, waiting is active. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run, and not be weary. They shall walk, and not faint." To wait upon the Lord is to serve him in trust, to lean into his presence, to remain faithful in prayer, worship, and obedience while he unfolds the next step. When you wait this way, you don't wither in the in-between. You grow stronger. You soar higher. You are prepared to step through the new door with wisdom and maturity. The example of David. Consider David. He was anointed king as a young shepherd boy, but the door to the throne did not open immediately. For years, he served in obscurity. He endured rejection, betrayal, even pursuit from Saul who wanted to kill him. Yet David remained faithful. He worshipped in caves. He wrote psalms in hiding. He did not despise the waiting season, he grew in it. By the time the throne was his, David was not only a warrior, he was a man after God's own heart. And beloved, God is doing the same with you. This waiting is not wasted. This delay is not denial. It is training ground. He is shaping your character, fortifying your faith, sharpening your discernment, and deepening your intimacy with him. Releasing what no longer serves you. To walk with peace, you must also release what God has already shut down. You cannot walk forward if you keep dragging the weight of yesterday. Philippians 3:13-14 reminds us, "Forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus." Peace comes when you let go of what you cannot change. Confidence comes when you trust that if God closed it, it was not meant for your future. So today, make a choice. Release the bitterness, the questions, the what-ifs. Let the old doors stay closed, so you can walk through the new ones with free hands and a free heart. Prophetic assurance. I speak this over you in the Spirit, you will not be stuck in the hallway forever. You will not remain in transition endlessly. God is preparing the right door, and it will open at the right time. When it does, you will realize that the waiting season was the very thing that preserved you, matured you, and equipped you. You will walk into your new season with authority, not insecurity. With clarity, not confusion. With joy, not fear. Anchoring yourself in the Word. Beloved, the enemy will always try to fill your waiting with lies. He will whisper that you are forgotten. That you are abandoned. That God is silent. But do not believe him. Anchor yourself in the Word of God. Speak it out loud. Declare his promises over your life daily. For the Word is your sword in the waiting. When you feel weary, declare Isaiah 40:31. When you feel forgotten, declare Deuteronomy 31:6. He will never leave you nor forsake you. When you feel anxious, declare Philippians 4:6-7. The peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds. This is how you maintain peace and confidence while God prepares the new door. A final encouragement. The waiting room of God is not a punishment, it is a place of preparation. Do not despise it. Do not rush out of it. For when the new door opens, you will thank him for every moment you spent being shaped in the silence. And when you step into the new season, you will not walk timidly. You will walk boldly, because you will know that you did not arrive by accident, you were divinely appointed for such a time as this. So stand firm. Breathe deep. Rest your heart. Trust the one who holds the keys. The same God who closed the door that was hurting you is the same God who will open the door that will bless you. And when He does, no man, no enemy, no circumstance can shut it. Beloved, now we arrive at a deeper revelation. Closed doors are not just protection or preparation, they are the very stage upon which God writes His greatest testimonies in your life. What the enemy meant for harm, God transforms into a living witness of His power, His goodness, and His faithfulness. Every closed door has a purpose, and every purpose will become a testimony that blesses not only you, but everyone who sees your journey. God turns rejection into testimony. Think of Joseph. Rejected by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and imprisoned, every door seemed to slam shut in his face. And yet, through every rejection, God was setting the stage for a testimony that would save nations. When Joseph finally rose to power in Egypt, he told his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Genesis 50:20. Beloved, do you see? That closed door in your life is not the end of the story. It is the setup for a testimony that will reveal God's providence. The pain you feel now will become the very proof that He was guiding you all along. From closed door to open platform, sometimes God closes a door not just to protect you, but to redirect you to the platform He designed for your voice, your gifts, your calling. Paul experienced this in Acts 16. He tried to preach the gospel in certain regions, but Scripture says, the Spirit of Jesus would not allow them to. Acts 16:7. That was a door closed by God Himself. But immediately after, Paul received a vision of a man in Macedonia saying, "Come over and help us." That closed door redirected Paul into Europe, and from there, the gospel spread across the continent, changing history. The door you thought was an opportunity may have been too small for the destiny God placed in you. The platform He is preparing will not only bless you, it will impact generations. The glory is revealed in the outcome. Beloved, the testimony is not only in your survival, but in the outcome. When Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, the door to safety was closed. The king himself sealed it with his signet ring. But what happened? God shut the mouths of the lions. Daniel walked out unharmed, and the very king who sealed him and declared, "For He is the living God and He endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end." Daniel 6:26. Do you see? The testimony was not just Daniel's deliverance, it was the glory of God being revealed to an entire nation. And I prophesy to you now, when your testimony unfolds, it will not be a private matter. People will see it. Your family will see it. Your enemies will see it. And all will know that it was God who sustained you and brought you through. Beauty from brokenness. Every time a door closed in your life, it may have left scars. Maybe it was the door of a broken relationship, a missed opportunity, a dream that shattered. But beloved, God specializes in making beauty from brokenness. Isaiah 61:3 declares that He gives a crown of beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, and a garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Your testimony will not only be that you survived, but that you came out better, stronger, and more radiant than before. The ashes of your past will become the soil from which your future blooms. The power of your testimony. Revelation 12:11 says, "They overcame Him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony." Do you realize the power in your story? The enemy fears your testimony because it is living proof that his schemes failed. That God's hand was stronger. That God's plan prevailed. Beloved, every closed door you've endured is adding to the weight of your testimony. And when you share it, you will not only walk in victory, you will help others step into their victory. 2. Prophetic word over your life. I declare this over you, your testimony will silence the lies of the enemy. Your testimony will heal hearts. Your testimony will break chains for others. What you thought was your greatest loss will become your greatest story of redemption. What you thought disqualified you will become the very thing God uses to qualify you in His kingdom. People will look at you and say, "Surely, the Lord has been with them. And you will testify, not of your strength, but of His grace. Do not hide what God has done. Some of you have walked through closed doors, and God has already brought you into something new. But you've been hesitant to share, afraid of being judged or misunderstood. Beloved, do not hide what God has done. Your silence robs others of hope. Your testimony is not just about you, it is a seed for someone else's breakthrough. Tell your story. Declare it boldly. Speak of His goodness. For every time you share what He has done, you multiply its power, turning pain into praise. Perhaps the most powerful testimony is not just in what happened, but in how you respond. When you can turn your pain into praise, your enemies are confused, and heaven is glorified. Paul and Silas were thrown into prison, another closed door. But at midnight, they prayed and sang hymns to God. And suddenly, the prison shook, chains fell off, and doors flew open. Your praise in the middle of the closed door is prophetic. It declares, I believe God is working, even when I cannot see it. And that kind of faith releases miracles. A final encouragement. Beloved, every closed door will one day make sense. You may not understand it now, but soon you will see that the very thing you cried over became the very thing you praise Him for. And when that moment comes, don't just move on. Share it. Shout it. Let your testimony be a trumpet that announces the faithfulness of God, because your story is not just about you. It is about the God who writes beauty into brokenness, victory into defeat, and glory into every closed door. Beloved, we have journeyed through the truth of closed doors, how they protect, prepare, and position you for greater things. Now, let us come to the final revelation. Closed doors are not endings at all, but holy transitions. They are divine redirections into the fullness of your God-ordained destiny. Every closed door points to a greater yes. You must understand this. God never closes a door without already holding a greater yes in His hand. His Spirit does not shut you out to leave you wandering. He shuts you in so He can lead you to what He prepared before the foundation of the world. Think of Abraham. God told him to leave his father's house, his land, his comfort. That door was closed forever. But in obedience, Abraham stepped forward, and that step became the beginning of a covenant that still blesses the world today. The closed door of familiarity was the open door into destiny. And I tell you, beloved, the doors God has closed in your life were not endings. They were divine exits, meant to usher you into a promised land you cannot yet fully see. Closed doors are God's navigation system. When you are driving and miss a turn, the GPS will reroute you. It does not abandon you, it redirects you to still reach your destination. Closed doors are heaven's navigation system. They are God's way of saying, that road will not take you where I want you to go. And instead of letting you settle for a wrong turn, He shuts it down so you can keep moving toward His appointed path. Do not mourn the turn you could not take. Rejoice that you are still on course to the destiny He has mapped out. The divine exchange. When God closes a door, it is always because He is preparing to exchange what you lost for something greater. Scripture assures us, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8:28. Beloved, let that truth settle in your spirit. All things. Not some, not most, all. Every loss, every rejection, every missed opportunity, it will all be used as raw material in the hands of your Creator. The divine exchange is this: you give Him your disappointment, and He gives you His destiny. You give Him your confusion, and He gives you His clarity. You give Him your brokenness, and He gives you His wholeness. From shutting to shaping. Closed doors are not simply barriers, they are tools of shaping. The seasons where God has said no are the seasons where He has been forming you into the vessel He needs you to be. Clay in the potter's hand is pressed, turned, and reshaped. The potter knows the final design. The clay may not understand the pressure, but it must yield to the hands that shape it. Beloved, your life is in the hands of the master potter. Those closed doors that pressed against you were never meant to crush you, only to shape you. And soon, The vessel he has been forming will be ready for the pouring out of his glory. Closed doors and open heavens. When the door of earth closes, the window of heaven opens. Many times, God allows earthly doors to shut so that your eyes will turn upward. He wants you to depend not on people, not on systems, not on your own strength, but on Him alone. Jacob experienced this. With his past behind him and his future uncertain, he lay down on the ground with nothing but a stone for a pillow. That night, heaven opened, and he saw a ladder with angels ascending and descending. The closed doors of his earthly life became the moment heaven revealed itself. And from that night forward, Jacob was transformed into Israel, the father of nations. Beloved, the doors that shut around you are pressing you into the secret place of God's presence. And there, heaven will open over you. You are being carried into destiny. Do not fear, chosen one. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are being carried. The same Spirit that hovered over the waters at creation hovers over your life now. The same hand that led Israel out of Egypt leads you today. Closed doors are not signs that you are lost, they are signs that you are chosen. For God does not discipline or redirect those He has abandoned. He only shapes and protects those He deeply loves. The prophetic fulfillment. Beloved, here is the word of the Lord for you. Every door that has shut in your past was closing you off from what was secretly hurting you. But now, God is opening doors that no man can shut. Your destiny will not be delayed any longer. The years you thought were wasted are about to be redeemed. What you thought you lost is returning in a higher, holier form. The season of confusion is ending, and the season of clarity is beginning. You will see why every no was necessary. You will thank God for every goodbye. You will rejoice over every door that slammed in your face, because it pushed you straight into His arms. Your story ends in victory. Let this truth echo in your soul. You are not ending in defeat. You are ending in victory. God will not let the story of your life conclude with heartbreak, disappointment, or loss. For the one who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1:6. And the author of your story has already written the final chapter. It ends in glory. It ends in joy. It ends in destiny fulfilled. Every tear will be wiped away. Every broken piece will be restored. And every door that shut will be revealed as part of the divine path that led you home. A final blessing. Dear chosen one, lift your hands right now as a sign of surrender. I speak this blessing over your life. May the God who closes doors protect you from every hidden trap. May the God who opens doors lead you into the fullness of your calling. May your past losses turn into future testimonies, and may your heart rest in the eternal truth that you are deeply loved, chosen, and destined for glory. Beloved, the doors of hurt have closed forever. Ahead of you lies a door that shines with heaven's light, a door called destiny. Walk through it in faith, and you will see that God was guiding you all along. Dear chosen one, if you are watching this video right now, know that this is not a coincidence. You weren't led here by chance. It is God who has brought you to this very moment, to this message, because an urgent prophecy is about to unfold, and it is meant for you. Receive this energy and divine prophecy by liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to write your heartfelt prayers or wishes to God in the comment section below. Beloved, I must speak directly to your heart today. There have been doors in your life that looked good on the outside, but behind them were hidden snares. Opportunities that promised blessing but carried chains. People who smiled